Before you watch the video, the original version was illegally DMCA striked by Threat Interactive himself. He abused the copyright system again in order to silence criticism. He didn't just strike our video, he did it to at least 5 others that we know of in a single fell swoop to silence all of us. Our video might be talking about him personally, but the others made videos that were even in support of him, but just questioned his experience in the field. That was enough for him to take action. Please watch this video to know how much of a liar and manipulator he actually is behind closed doors. Everything said in the video is true and factual and based on first-hand accounts and our experience with him. We know that you as an audience member is smart enough to see it for yourself. So in the past few months, another channel called Threat Interactive has emerged and gained popularity quickly by talking about topics many gamers are quite passionate about. Specifically, video game optimization, the Unreal Engine, and topics on temporal anti-aliasing. I want to be clear, this video is not meant to debunk his claims. Neither of us have the experience to verify or deny his claims, but we do have the experience with this individual personally. This video is about his dishonesty and deceitful nature. We are tired of his lies, the censorship, the misinformation, and especially the growing community of hateful individuals. We are the moderators of FTAA, and this is our video to prove that Threat Interactive is a liar and he will always be banned. Stay tuned. Threat Interactive uses alternate accounts to push a narrative. It's important to first establish all the alt accounts that he has used in the past to promote his content, support his cause, and say things that wouldn't be appropriate to say in a public video. User TrueNextGen on Reddit. User Project Redo. This account no longer exists, but there are traces of it. City Sample Main or Researcher on Discord, which has been deleted as well. And of course, user Threat Interactive on Reddit. He has used these accounts to promote his content, and he uses it to shield his main account and his YouTube channel from criticism. He admitted to the Project Redo account on his TrueNextGen account while exchanging messages with one of us. Here are a few more examples of how he has used these accounts. Here's also how he talks about himself in a third-person perspective, most likely to pretend like he's a fan or a supporter when it's really just himself.
Threat Interactive censors criticism. He removes comments on his YouTube channel, blocks people, and hides comments on X. He admitted to having a quote-unquote team that's dedicated to just removing comments. A severe case of this censorship is when he abused YouTube's copyright strike system in order to take down a video that criticized him. It was on the YouTube channel called Dallas Drapeau. Mr. Drapeau had to re-upload his video after the fact. Full video in the description. Here's a snippet from the beginning of it.
I woke up today to this, my most recent video taken down for both copyright claims, as well as YouTube saying I somehow uploaded my video via third-party API. Now, I am appealing that video, and if that works, I'll simply remove this one and keep that one, but needless to say, Threat Interactive worked hard to get this video taken down. Now, do I blame him? Who would, when the shadows is where all cowards prefer to hide? Which, in my opinion, just substantiates this video even further. Me, I prefer the truth out in the open. So, this is just the intro to the original video re-uploaded. However, I am removing the cuts to his page and images of him, nor will I be monetizing this video. To me, it's more important this gets out and stays uploaded as opposed to making a quick buck. Instead, when I make references to his page, I will simply add the links in the description down below with the given timestamp. Not ideal, I know, but this is where we're at. So, without further ado, enjoy the video.
Threat Interactive treats his fans like idiots and bans people who criticize him. If someone dared to express any disagreement with him or his methods, they were dismissed or banned, sometimes not even knowing why.
Threat Interactive admits to not understanding graphics programming. He's only been using Unreal Engine for maybe like 2 years, and yet he behaves as if he's an industry veteran, berating graphics programmers while admitting to not being able to comprehend the things that he's criticizing them for. Graphics programming. Graphics programmers are the people that are responsible for things like anti-aliasing, bloom, and all the various other types of effects that you can find in games. They implement these things. He isn't particularly popular among the game dev community, especially among the graphics programming community. He's even managed to get himself banned on the graphics programming Discord server. Most of his audience very likely don't understand these things either. His videos are loaded with a ton of technical jargon, and he speaks in a way that just about makes him sound knowledgeable enough. The gaming crowd praises his content, but the game dev crowd sees all of the misinformation and misunderstanding. In fact, the graphics programming community, which he called out in one of his videos, made a lengthy debunk post addressing his claims. It got posted on the Unreal Engine subreddit, but unfortunately got deleted, probably due to the mods not wanting to deal with any drama surrounding this. However, someone grabbed the post. We'll leave a link in the description for you to download it. It goes over a lot of his claims about things like nanite, for example. Threat Interactive admits to wanting to censor people who don't follow his narrative. He also personally asked us to delete some comments that criticize him and his content, or in other words, he wants to control the narrative, and he didn't really hide this intention of his. Threat Interactive deleted a Discord server that consisted of 2,000 members, a portion of which were developers. After copyright striking that aforementioned video, some of his followers didn't like it and started complaining about this action, which ultimately led him to deleting the entire server.
Threat Interactive hasn't provided any examples on where the donation money has gone, after asking for donations for $900,000 that would specifically go towards paying developers to fix Unreal Engine. He claims to be a non-profit organization. We have found no information to support this statement, as well as being self-conflicting with other statements he has made.
Threat Interactive claims to be a company with a CEO, marketing agent, aka consisting of multiple members, but hasn't shown any proof of this.
Threat Interactive has started the game development company, but hasn't shown any proof of this. He has since changed to a YouTube and merchandising company, which he stated to be a sole proprietorship. It's extremely likely that there's no studio or game, nor ever was. Because it is a sole proprietorship company, we cannot find information because he doesn't have to register as a company. But it's more than likely there's no company at all, and it's just him and his YouTube channel.
He has harassed multiple members in our community as well as on Discord, which led to complaints such as these.
Threat Interactive has grown a fan base of hatred. You're not going to make any tangible change or difference in this industry with this kind of toxicity and hatefulness. A lot of developers have already dismissed him because of this, along with his inaccurate takes. Are we to believe that he's going to change the industry when developers themselves aren't going to listen? Who are the people that will actually make change?
He spread misinformation about the topics that he talks about. Several developers have debunked a lot of his claims, all criticisms to which he doesn't take kindly. He claims to strive to fix the gaming industry, but hasn't shown how he plans to do it in great detail. All that we know, based on what he has made public thus far, is that he wants to create a fork of Unreal Engine 5 whose rendering is temporally independent or has a very selective temporal accumulation for only some of its aspects. Developers are lazy and provides quote-unquote simple solutions. Experienced developers say otherwise, like the graphics programming Discord where he managed. What about this game that's allegedly being developed? A lot of indie developers tend to at least share some screenshots of their unreleased projects, if not full-blown devlogs. We have seen absolutely nothing from his alleged game. No art, nothing. Zero. A lot of evidence points to this just being one big scam, and people have been calling it a scam for months, especially given the fact that he is accepting donations. Some points that he brings up are valid, such as TAA and modern AA in general, as well as some modern games genuinely having poor or unacceptable performance. We're not denying those points. In fact, our community regularly brings them up, and we'd be all for it if his efforts actually resulted in them being fixed or at least somehow addressed. But as it stands now, he's not going to accomplish much until he changes his approach. He might have amassed a certain following, but we highly doubt that he'll achieve any tangible difference in the industry, not with this kind of hostile and hate-mongering approach, because that's all that we've seen come off of his efforts, even more angry gamers that just berate developers. This is simply not the way. He's not going to fix anything. I like the guy because of his rather fiery and passionate approach to this topic, especially given the fact that I've been talking about this for over 4 years at this point. I believed that he had the potential to shift the needle in some big way, and initially it did seem like that a bit, but as time went on, that stopped looking like the case. I personally tolerated the aggressiveness and even turned a blind eye to some of the censorship that he was practicing. There was a point where I even considered him a very good acquaintance, but the ever-growing controversy surrounding him, along with the growing and escalating censorship, followed by the abuse of YouTube's copyright strike system, pushed me past my tolerance point. I regularly defended the guy in front of the regulars of the community as well as in front of other members. I once had a close to 2-hour-long debate where it was basically me against like 3 or 4 people. But the moment that aforementioned point of tolerance was crossed, I lost any and all respect that I had for him. If someone cannot even understand and respect the basic rule of not being hostile towards other members in the community that gave him a platform, then there's no other way to go about dealing with such an individual. We tried to talk some sense into him and explain to him that he cannot go around insulting the members of the community and that he has to follow rule number 1 like everybody else. We have a certain responsibility towards the community, not allowing the controversies to blow in its direction as well as not letting members be insulted on a regular basis are some of them. While we might share similar goals and complaints, we do not share the same hostile approach when talking about them and when demanding that they be addressed. We also do not follow the quote-unquote lazy developers narrative. Game development is a complex endeavor, and in the era of crunch and layoffs, dunking on developers is just simply inappropriate. We should work with them in a normal, civilized manner, not berate them. With that said, I would like to take this opportunity to officially thank some developers for taking the community's feedback and implementing anti-aliasing toggles as well as customizability options. Starting with Nixie Software, who, according to Digital Foundry, followed the subreddit.
Interestingly, when we were talking to Nixis about, or Nixis about the Ratchet port, one of them noted that they actually subscribe to a subreddit that is focused on, like, I think it's like FTAA is what it's called, you know, if you extrapolate from there.
Followed by a shout out to this developer, JB Bryant, for implementing very extensive customizability options in his game, Ardaria, as well as this developer from the Euro Truck Simulator team. You guys get it.
I've been moderating the FTAA subreddit and Discord for about a year now. This guy has been on my radar since nearly the beginning. From the troll accounts to the emotional rants and arguments this guy constantly had in our chats. I was tired of it, and now I'm even more frustrated with the amount of people defending this guy. The fallout between the group began with the harassment of members of our community, where he personally insulted another member for sharing his constructive criticism. He wasn't looking to find common ground. He just wanted to argue and cry about a member of our community being against the so-and-so cause. This same day, I received another complaint through Reddit DMs. This was the final straw. I told him that he cannot treat people this way. He proceeded to explain that he wasn't sorry and that he would continue. I told him he would be banned if he did it so again. Strike one of a major disciplinary action. He ditched the server after this and went to create his own. We all know what happened after that. Well, here's the proof. And the reason why he's banned and he will never be allowed to be mentioned again in our subreddit. I just want him gone, and all of his defenders, all of them. You're not welcome. If you dislike what we have to say, that's fine, but this is our proof, and I'm not going to try to defend myself again. We understand that we share common ground. We're upset with the gaming industry. We want things to change. We want better optimization. We want less of these gimmicky things and just giving us good games. But you need to stop following this guy because he's lying to you and deceiving you.
So, we should hopefully have established that we were in relatively personal contact with him. We only had 2 or 3 calls with him, but they were enough to realize that he isn't much of a different person on call. He once made an impromptu call request due to a regular of the community criticizing him for deleting negative comments and blocking people that disagreed with him. For some reason, he considered it as some sort of big betrayal of that regular. He was very upset by that call. Any attempts at trying to defuse the tension were met with even more anger. This was a serious red flag for us. We didn't really tend to this situation that much after the fact. Looking back at it, it was a mistake.
For example, if you watch that video from him on Silent Hill, he does a breakdown on the boosted performance of disabling Nanite. He said that he had a conversation in a Discord call, and that there was a boost in performance with a 4080. Guess who that individual was? I knew him before he even joined the Discord, and he was basically just a subreddit annoyance. But he eventually joined our Discord, and we used to converse all the time and text chat, and eventually he grew comfortable enough to talk to us on VC. We did it maybe 2 or 3 times for personal matters, non-professional. And the one that really stuck out was this one time when he just broke down because there was this conversation about another individual in our group who supposedly made some constructive criticism against him, which he didn't take lightly. He saw it as a betrayal. He called him a traitor and a bunch of other names. And he was just breathing heavy on the microphone. That's what I remember. And he was asking us over and over, "What am I going to do, guys?" And he slammed his fist on the table. "I just don't know what I'm going to do." That's what he said. Which is just sad because I really considered him part of the team. But he just completely buckled down on his negative ways. At this point, I think he's just too far gone. To break it all down, he censors criticism, whether it is constructive or not. If it opposes him, he deletes it without question. He attacks people in the industry. He treats people like you like idiots, all to push his ideas without having a lick of supporting evidence. He is willing to ban people in his community for asking questions relating to his projects, or just about anything with friction. Fans are no exception. He makes these bold claims without formal education and without any experience in the industry. On top of it, there's developers stating he's wrong frequently. It's really hard to believe a pathological liar. He admits that he is willing to censor you if you don't agree with him. He actually asked me to give him mod privileges so he could censor anybody against the quote-unquote cause, meaning anybody who likes temporal solutions. Another attempt at forcing his narrative onto you. He says he's a game development company. He has never showed evidence of this game, even when I knew him personally. The name Threat Interactive was created for his game that he wanted to make, a horror survival game. The idea was to create a game that didn't follow industry standards, and it eventually revolved into a channel talking about why games are blurry. I would very much like to see this game, if it even exists. Another keyword, company. He uses multiple accounts to pretend there are multiple people working in his company. He is claimed across multiple accounts to state having a marketer, CEO, owner, and people higher up. From his history of alt accounts being used to troll people in my community and influence narratives, And from my personal experience watching him jump from account to account, where these same accounts, which are claiming to be multiple entities in a company, are the same account used to troll, and how I communicated with him. To clarify even further, he stated he's a sole proprietorship, probably to hide behind government regulations. He doesn't have to register a company in a state as a sole proprietorship. To make my point, the sole proprietorship is a single owner-operated business, which means there isn't a CEO and there aren't people higher up. It's just him. Even if he has employees, none of them have come forward. Am I supposed to believe someone who lies, makes alt accounts, and I have evidence and experience stating otherwise? He's lying. To make the biggest point of all, he wants your money. He's asking for $900,000 to hire developers to quote-unquote fix Unreal Engine. You should be asking him how he will accomplish this. You should be asking him where the money is going. He states on his website that donations are for nonprofit. I couldn't find this nonprofit anywhere, which would allow you to see where the money is going, of course. You should be asking how much money has been collected and where it is. If this money is supposed to be changing the industry, where has it gone? It's another lie. My final note is to his community. Are you willing to accept him for everything that he's done? Or are you just going to ignore it because you are frustrated with the state of optimization? Are you willing to believe a liar, manipulator, uneducated, deceitful individual who wants your money because you think he will change the industry? Someone who lies to your face with the industry saying he's wrong, that there is this conspiracy, and the only person who is willing to change things will silence you on a whim. That is all I have to say on the matter. We want to make real change in the industry by approaching it in a positive and helpful manner. Just because we have the F word in our subreddit name doesn't mean we advocate for hate.